Good morning, y'all. I had an amazing night last night, and today is subpar because it's foggy as fuck and I'm hungover. Close enough. Welcome back, seasonal depression. So, since I'm gonna be laying here miserable as fuck before I eventually do my favorite thing of mixing Mountain Dew with Mark's harder lemonade, I call it a mountain mic because it takes you on a fucking climb and you get hella high up. It's great. And I know you're like, to me, just do cocaine. It's like, I don't do cocaine. I don't do drugs. I'm anti-drug. It's like I'm too poor for antidepressants, and also I don't trust the government. And I like to me, why would you trust the? I know there's a lot wrong with me. We already know, but still, believe it or not, actually a pretty well-rounded individual. I care about other people's lives. I genuinely do. I love people. I do. Like truly, if someone has an issue, I'm always happy to help it out, even if it slightly inconveniences me, just because I find it to be in my character to do so. I aim to be a caring, selfless person, and I usually do achieve it pretty well, but I have to say, these motherfuckers piss me off to the point where it's like, wow. No wonder I'm so homicidal and suicidal and shit. Like, no offense, like, some days I will just be like, I want to fucking kill myself, and if it's not gonna be me, it's definitely gonna be like 5 other people. No, like 7. At 7. I could name like, well, could I name like 7 people right now? Actually, yes, I could. They are very lucky that I choose the path of laying the fuck down and looking at a bunch of lesbian porn on Reddit instead of trying to do what my mind wants me to do. But anyway, the most painful part about life is like, do you ever understand someone but you just like, you don't? It's so frustrating, and that's what hurts. So that's another reason why sometimes I haven't left fucked up relationships sooner. Because you can. That's the reason some people don't leave their abusive families, because they understand. Like, I'll put it like this. My mother, she was a fucking cunt. Bitch on wheels, terrible fucking person, should not be allowed within any radius of any school, any children, anything. Yet she owns a daycare. She's a fucking idiot. And this bitch, I'll put it this way. It does suck that she had an abortion when she was like 15 or 14 or something. That was traumatic, That was. She didn't talk about it very much until later in life, but still, it's like that's traumatic as fuck. Her first child was an accident, and her second child was a product of rape from the guy who got her the first kid. And then on top of that, like, she had a gun pulled on her when she was like 4 by her own fucking crack addict mother, the whole reason I don't do drugs. And my fucking crack-addled grandmother looked her in her face, looked at my mother when she was 4, held a pistol to her, or was it a revolver? I don't know, but it's a fucking gun, and said, you ain't shit, and you ain't ever gonna be shit, just like I ain't shit, before she passed out from fucking crack, obviously. Or is it meth? Who cares? And that traumatized my mom for life. Now, there's a million reasons why I could figure out why my mom is a hothead, why she's super sensitive to ejection. I remember how my mom was at a certain point. She loved her kids. She did. Was she the same psycho bitch that beat the fuck out of all of us when we were, like, all under the age of, like, 9? And, like, made sure she beat us naked with the windows open and the doors open so that everyone could fucking see us in the neighborhood and to make us feel fucking helpless? Of fucking course I do. She did that shit, but I also remember times where it's like, she at some point did give a fuck. So it was she was one of those weird parents where some of the shit never makes sense. When she found out how severe I was getting bullied in elementary school, she didn't do shit. And she should have. She should have. I might cry in this video at some point, but, that's expected. I'm also experiencing inflammation because I had a bunch of caffeine, so my heart is racing fast and my inflammation is high. But there were times where it's like, oh, look, that's the woman who wanted to when I was a kid, she would always, anytime I asked for anything, she would hug me and sing the song, You Can Have Whatever You Like, yeah, by T.I. And, like, she made sure that I felt, like, loved and special and happy and that I was God's gift to the planet. She did well at that. And she did pretty well at instilling the values of, like, always love your kids, ride for your kids. If you have kids, do anything you can for them, sacrifice, all that. But boy, oh boy, did she get fucking terrible. It's like so astronomically awful. And it's like, okay, bitch, we get it. You suffered as a kid. Your mom used to steal shit from you so you could work a hard job, and then your mom would come home and steal all your fucking nice items or your money that you got from your job so that she could, I don't know, blow it on crack and fuck random lesbians and do stupid shit in the streets. That sucks, but it's been some fucking years, bitch. It's been time. Time has passed. Now it's like, okay, the danger is gone. What are you gonna do with people going fucking forward? I can understand why my mom would have anger issues or OCD issues or this, and that. She's went through a fucking lot. My biological father was a pathetic, stupid piece of shit who was supposed to be a good male best friend to her, but instead was just like every other fucking man and was a disappointment in her life when they needed to be a father figure. She was not around any healthy authority figures, all that. But she still tried to act like, it's like, no, you knew what you did to us as kids was wrong. What happened to you doesn't fucking excuse what happened to me that you caused. Not at all. Come on now. Everyone has their vices and their sins and things that they do that not everyone would agree with. Of course they do. I, of all people, know that. I have been threatened with restraining orders multiple times in my fucking life. Why? Because I'm fucking nuts as well. It's hereditary on both sides. Simply put, but I still try my best. I over communicate. I try my best to get to know how other people feel, why their lives made them the way they do, why their mindsets are the way they are, all that. And I guess I can't wrap my head around how some people refuse to look inside themselves. You're always going to be around yourself. You might as well get to know yourself, or would you rather go through life with a stranger? And then be put in hurt situations because you're letting a stranger run your life on autopilot instead of really doing what you fully want for yourself. Many people don't look inside themselves, and many people don't want to care and truly look inside of other people. Or if they do one, they don't do the other. And I find it sickening. So there's people who know exactly what they want out of their life. Those are the go-getter types, the ones who end up like CEOs or high fashion models or actresses. But then you'll see them like step on other people's toes or use them as stepping stones or building blocks and take advantage of them. I don't fuck with that. They are selfish beings. There are people out there who will be like, oh, I don't want to get to know myself, but I do want to get to know other people and help other people. And that's why there's those people where it's like they'll work a job and then give their man like all of the fucking money. They'll win the lottery and give their man all of the fucking money. Why? Because they have a wound about being abandoned and not wanting to be forgotten. And they want to help other people because they don't feel like they themselves are helpable, and they hope that someone else can help them. The whole time they can't help themselves. I'm one of those people. I'm aware of that. I've worked on that a lot last year. I did some cutting out, and there's still more to do. I'm aware of it. Why else do you think I make so many videos? It's me working on the process. And it hurts to dig inside yourself. It does, but I'll put it this way. You know what? Surgery probably fucking hurts. But after it's done, you feel a whole lot better than if you didn't do it. So would you rather rot slowly or quickly from the inside out, or would you rather have pain once and then let yourself heal and then go forward, at least knowing you never have to relive that pain again? Ideally, or at least even if you have to redo whatever emotional digging, it's less hard. It's kind of like that picture of those two dudes who are digging underground in a cave, and one stops right before they reach the diamond and the other keeps going. It's like, yeah, if you keep digging, you're going to eventually find what you need. And you're going to untangle all sorts of like emotions and self-fulfilling prophecies and fucked up mindsets instilled in you and where they came from, and if you want them in your life or if they don't. And I'll just say it like this: that is what made me so secure in myself from a very young age, because I kind of knew it's like like if no one else is around, I have myself. I'm happy with myself. No one else inherently matters, but then guess what? I still learned empathy and stuff and learned to care about other people, and it can catch people off guard because they don't expect to be given a fuck about. And I think that's sad for our society, that it's like, oh, like, I'll put it this way, like, that video, that type of not meme trend going around where people will make a video with their kid where it's like, oh, we all got surprise treats, let's unravel them, 1, 2, 3, and then they lift up some napkins, and then like everybody gets a plate with a cookie on it, except the main little boy or the main kid in the video will get like 2 cookies and one person will have no plate. And then usually, like, in the videos, you see if the kid has empathy or morals or whatever. So then it'll be a kid being like, oh, I got 2 cookies. Wait, you don't have one. And then they'll give their spare cookie to that. And I'm just saying, we as a society should have that mindset. Love thy neighbor. Give what you can when you can. Like, if it's possible, then do it. Like, I'm just saying. I don't like a society where it's normalized to not care a fuck. Like, older generations had it going on. They were like, you know what, we should know our neighbors, we should have get-togethers and parties, and, make efforts. That is important, and it's vital as a backbone to our society. You need to make it clear that it's like a normal society is a good society that cares for one another. If you unnormalize that, the next thing you know, it's going to be a whole lot of other shit that gets normalized. That's why some people are freaking, like, how do I put this? especially in the terms of politics. It's like, if you fucking normalize everyone going through bad shit all the time, then who's gonna be optimistic that we can ever stop bad shit? That's why 1 second it's like everyone's okay with not having a third space. Everyone's just going to work and going home and going to work and going home, and everything's too priced to go out. So you have to get used to blowing a bunch of money on really weak experiences, or getting past it all the time to even tolerate the weak experiences that you don't even know shouldn't be weak. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, okay, hey, do you want to have a revolution to have like more free time and like more affordable things and this, and that? Nobody wants to fucking do it because they're like, sure, I could do that, or I could get instant gratification that is not at all satisfying from Twitter and Facebook and Instagram memes and porn. And, if I were to have to protest, I would have to give up on that and suffer for a bit. And it's like, I'm just saying, you're already suffering. You're just picking and choosing the so-called more convenient one that will really be your downfall, because then you're not going to bat a fucking eye when we keep getting killed in these streets, or when we get fucking bombed, or whatever the fuck happens. And if you're like, to me, the government would never bomb us. Look up the Philadelphia Move bombings. They fucking bombed a black neighborhood and displaced thousands of people. Hundreds, maybe even thousands. And killed so many people and did so much damage for fucking nothing. We don't, like, society is not that fucking nice, but we can make it nice. We have to try. We might have to do some fucked up shit to get there, but I'm just saying, try. Believe. Anyway, as I was saying, I can understand why some people are the way they are, okay? I'm someone where people talk to me and they know that I'm not that judgmental of a person, and that they feel like they can talk to me about anything. I guess it's a blessing that it's like, okay, pretty privilege mixed with a super soft sounding voice, and being able to just listen, not even talk, listen, and knowing how to make people comfortable and respecting their boundaries. People tell me a lot of things, so I can understand things. Like, for example, like 2 weekends ago or so, I got screamed at by a friend over something that they could have told me about directly when the incident first happened. Was I hurt? Yeah. Did I lash out at them? No. I talked to them about it gently, and I said, I understand why you were stressed about this and why you didn't tell me sooner. You blew up at me because you were holding it in, and that's fine. I've done that too. I had to unlearn that. It takes a lot. I myself can have a tendency of blowing up at people and holding resentment. I know how that feels, and I can tell that deep down, you hiding the fact that you felt so disappointed or upset, like, because it was most likely because you ironically did not want me to feel hurt. You, like, no one wants to disappoint a friend or a loved one, so of course you wouldn't, like, want to even risk talking to me about it if it could be like a confrontation or a bad reaction. I understand. And then ironically it ended up being one anyway because of holding it in. But I trust me when I say, like, I hope that you can feel safe with me as a friend, where if you feel that way, you can come to me forward, because I would have paid the money for that nachos if you wanted me to, and you shouldn't have had to bear that burden by yourself, and I'm sorry, I don't want you to feel used. And then he felt really good after that conversation, and now it's like nothing ever happened. It's like I wasn't scream crying in the back of his back seats and stuff, and it's nice, it's nice. And it worked, because just the other night we went out to a bar, and the bartender was like, hi, the only tequila we have is this kind. Do you want it? And I didn't know that, like, Patron was top shelf. I don't know shit about alcohol. I just thought, okay, that's alcohol that just so happens to be high up because it's counter space. Like, I don't know. I thought it was an organization thing, not a price range thing. But I got a shot of that. The bartender told my buddy, he was like, I'm not going to pay you full price for that because it would be overpriced as shit otherwise. And my buddy would, like, gently told me, like, hey, kiddo, can you make sure you don't get that, like, can you get well drinks for me? I just want to make sure that it doesn't come out of my social security. Like, that's his little joke he makes. He does not make social security, trust me. But, like, he's a wealthy man, as a platonic friend. But even then, he gently told me, and I was like, oh, just to clarify, like, and he got kind of nervous. He was worried I was about to lash out or something at him, but I said, oh, no, just to clarify, what is a well drink, so I know? And he said, oh, just, like, typical stuff, like, the stuff that they always keep at the, like, lower level of the bars. That's what they give to everybody. Otherwise, anything higher than that is the fancy stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, my bad, I'm sorry. I wouldn't want you to feel used. I can absolutely do that. And then, yeah, no conflict whatsoever, and we both understood. And I don't know, I get so frustrated. There's a million times where I've heard people's lives and backstories and I feel for them, but what sucks is, like, I'll say it like this. You know how I said how I forgot, there's other types of people too. There's people that don't care about themselves. You know how I said that there's people who only care about themselves but not others? There's people who don't care about themselves but care about others. And there's also another type where it's people who don't care about themselves but also don't care about others. And those can be the most emotionally exhausting people ever because they just do what the fuck ever and it never makes any sense. Like, for example, you know that guy Mitchell I was crying over for months during the holidays? I was thinking about him recently and I was like, wow, he was so handsome and so intelligent, mostly, and he was very sweet and funny, and I really loved his presence. I could have pictured him as my future husband. Doesn't mean he would have been, but I would have even just loved to have him as a friend. Huh. But even though he did his bad deeds, I still saw certain good things in him, but even then, I guess I just was like, it's a shame it had to be that way. Now, mind you, Mitchell's parents never divorced. They were very. One of them was an enabler who wasn't very good emotionally spirited herself. And his dad was just abusive. But if you were to ask him, he'd say, no, my dad's not abusive. Sure, he got drunk and punched me in the face a few times as a teenager, but you know what? He was not abusive otherwise. But he wasn't home a lot, and he probably cheated on my mom a bunch, and he was never nice and always emotionally abusive and made the household cold. And he would talk about how they didn't even have family dinners and how they didn't do this and how they didn't do that. I can imagine that would make someone really yearn for attachment, for stability, for consistent love and affections, and all that. But another thing about Mitchell is that he's ironically afraid of love because he hasn't truly been shown it. So whenever he does get love and shown love, he's both like, this is what they call fearful attachment. It's when it's like, because anxious attachment is when someone's like, oh fuck, they haven't messaged me back. My world's ending. I know we had a date like 2 hours ago, but they haven't messaged me back. I'm gonna kill myself. And then like avoidant attachment is like, oh, this girl said I look nice. Something's wrong with her. I need to distance because I'm blushing and I think I'm gonna get hurt. And it's like, it's kind of like two sides. It's like basically, usually it happens with people who have like abandonment issues and stuff and are afraid of being neglected and stuff. It's a long story. I can talk more about it. Fearful is a mix of both. That's what Mitchell is. So it's the type of person where it's like, I want love and I want someone that loves me to make me feel special, like a romance movie. And then, he'll have like a very high, intense emotional fling that feels amazing, amazing. He also has ADHD. So, of course, he's just like, fuck, like, he doesn't have many friends or anything either in person. So he's like, I'm fucking happy. I'm great. This person's my everything. They're my world. They're my all. They're that. And then once it gets too serious, then he's like, what if this isn't real? What if it is real? What if she's not the one for me? What if something, there must, like, why are we doing this? Actually, you know what? She's gonna hate me. She's gonna think I'm so fucking boring. She's gonna think I'm so fucking boring. There's no way she would ever want to deal with me. Oh, wait. Or what if actually she's boring me? Yeah, like, what if she isn't enough for me? Have I considered that? You know what? Like, what if she's gonna leave me at any time? I should just leave first, shouldn't I? Wait, no, what if she's around all the time? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be terrible? Do I even like her to want her around all the time? And they'll have like such a complex emotional fuckery that next thing you know, they'll do weird shit. Like they'll fall asleep on the phone with you and like it'll be like 9-hour phone calls where the nigga fell asleep on the phone with me and woke me up at 8 a.m. just to keep talking for another 2 hours, and even then didn't want to hang up. And then next thing you know, vanishes and gets all cold and confusing and shit. I don't know. Dude was weird. He was weird, and it's a shame because I really liked that guy, but there's a lot wrong with him, and it's not my fucking issue. He had a lot wrong with him in the sense of not just like, how do I put this? I'm not mad at someone for being emotionally confused about romance. That's totally fine. Romance can be very confusing. It was more just like he did things like gaslighting or being super defensive or abrasive or trying to revise history. And like, it's like, dude, it's just like, like, just calm down. It's like, I get it. You probably grew up in a fucked up household, so now you don't know how to deal with any sort of like communication or confrontation, and you think everything's a fight. No, admitting fault doesn't mean that you're going to be condemned to death. It's okay. Sometimes people are just wrong, but it doesn't mean you need to die. That's something my mother has dealt with. That's something plenty of people I have dated dealt with, and it's very fucking annoying, and it's even worse because it makes me think Sigmund Freud had a fucking point! Am I just gonna keep dating my mother? Sorry, let me stop screaming before the landlord gets scared. But really though, I actually had I dated two different dudes, and I think with both of them I had nightmares about how they were just my mother with a penis. It's not fun. Eventually you're like, oh, look, they handle conflict the same way. They act the same way when they're in distress. They act the same way when they're angry. They act the same way when they're sad. And you know, they when they're really loving, they're really loving, and when they're really evil, it's like nothing the world has ever seen. My God, is this really just my mother, but in the form of like a white dude? Ugh. And it hurts. And I think the reason I feel a lot of pain recently isn't just because I've been having an obscene amount of, oh shit, my titty almost came out. Sorry. Hope you haven't seen my titty in this video. You gotta pay for that. But simply put, whew, it's like, I was seeing that guy, Hay. We remember Hay. I knew him for like 2 years, maybe even a little bit more. Online, we had a pretty good connection. You know, things were going well. When we met up in person, it was supposed to be just for sex, but even then he knew the way I worked. So, you know, he got me like a piece of jewelry or two, very sweet, but we also had a lot of fun just generally talking and connecting. We watched the movie, he sucked my titties, fingered me, got some food together, all that. He was a very sweet guy, and I thought to myself, this guy is so refreshing. I'm not even crying over Mitchell anymore, despite how emotionally taxing and devastating all of that was for me. And then you know what happened? He was on that bullshit. And that tired me the fuck off. Tired me the fuck off. Yeah, let's pretend you know, see, it exhausted me so much that I can't even to this day say tired me the fuck out correctly because I'm that fucking exhausted even just thinking about it. Cause it's like, wow, he went from like, yeah, this nigga is so sweet, he is so lovely, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what I want from him yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm just happy to have a friend. Nothing too serious or emotionally taxing, just a buddy who I can like talk to, if not every day, then every now and then. And when we meet up, we can just have really good sex. Like, oh my god, incredible sex. And then, like, go out for a bite to eat or antique shopping or check out something cool like sewing or felting or whatever. And it broke my heart the way things fell apart between us. It still does. Because he knew me so long and so well. There were things building up to it, like, I'll put it this way. Before me and him fucked, when we were just in the talking stage of like, you know, because we were talked on and off for these past few years, but we got back in touch this year in February around Valentine's Day, and me and him were vibing. And next thing you know, me and him, like, it could be something subtle. Like, I could ask him, hey, like, or he could say something, and then I could say, haha, yeah, that does sound pretty interesting. Let me know if you ever check that out. That sounds really cool. And I would respond, and then he wouldn't say anything back. And then I wouldn't say anything back because I thought, oh, he hasn't responded yet. And instead of me being anxious, attached, and freaking out, like, my world's ending, I just thought to myself, oh, he's probably just busy or bored or doesn't want to talk to me. I don't own him or his time. He can respond when he wants to, and if we don't talk, it's okay because plenty of fish in the sea and plenty of things to do that don't rely on his attention. Just for him to respond, I think 2 days later, and he was like, did something I say upset you? And I was like, what? No, not at all. And he said, oh, because your reply last time was pretty, like, pretty weak, I gotta admit, or a little dry. And I was like, oh, that? Like, and I didn't take offense. I was like, oh, that? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just didn't have much to say on the topic, but I still wanted to hear about how you thought about that movie, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to check in on you and like know how it was. I just figured that since you didn't respond that you weren't very interested. Oh, I guess it's funny that we both made the mistake of assuming the other wasn't interested the whole time we wanted to talk to each other, huh? And we laughed it off and we kept talking, but then there were little moments here and there. There was a point where we almost made plans to hook up for the second time, like the big, you know, P and the V type. And he kind of was pissing me off because he was getting cold and distant, and I was getting really upset because it was really getting emotionally taxing and bad for me. So then I was just like, you know what, we shouldn't do this because I can feel myself already. Like, mind you, I've been threatened with restraining orders many times in my life. I am a psychotic person when I want to be. I literally have homicidal and suicidal thoughts, sometimes cannibalistic thoughts. I'm not always safe. I'm a pretty fucking real ass person. I told him I'm getting psychotic again. And I don't want to do that to you. I have a habit of obsessive tendencies, and I've been threatened with restraining orders before, so here's my Instagram for your safety. Because I want to make sure that you're safe if anything goes wrong with me, because I can get very emotionally volatile, and I feel like it's been weird. But here, how about this? I don't think we should meet for sex, and I think that we could be friends still, but just with very limited contact, because I want to be good for you. And he was like, what the fuck? Are you sure? And I was like, yeah, like, I can tell this is getting really bad. And I told him, plus I already know, like, your full legal name and your Instagram and all that. And he was like, you do? which one? And I sent it to him, and he was like, oh, shit. And I said, yeah, I like your sewing stuff. He was like, thank you. It won a contest in Germany. I was like, that's fucking cool. But, conversation went, like, he went from, like, ignoring me for, like, 2 to 3 hours at a time, or even up to 9 hours, and being hella fucking cold and distant and even rude. Because, I guess he had the mindset of, ooh, I already had her. It's losing interest stage. But once he realized that he wasn't going to get pussy from me, his attachment and interest came back in, because I guess he realized he was about to lose me or whatever. Like a fucking asshole. Only nice when he wanted something. That was my mistake. My mistake was involving myself with him after that. But whatever. And the fact is, this man in particular, I remember with him, I was just chilling in bed watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and in a much better headspace and mood. Now that I had that off my mind, I was like, okay, cool, this guy sucked my titties and fingered me a bit before, but we can just go back to being people who talk like once a blue moon or every few weeks just to check in on each other. Nothing too special. He had a bit of a reaction, but he was trying to hide it. I guess he secretly was more stressed about it than he thought. So he kept sending then unsending me messages, and I got to catch one of them, and one of them was like, are you, like, something along the lines of, are you depressing right now? And I said, what's depressing? And I guess, wait, he said, are you bumming out? But he unsent it. But I still noticed it. I said, I'm not bumming out, whatever that means. It is, like, what do you mean by that? And he said, oh, I'm sorry. It means, like, getting sad or frustrated. But it's okay, I'll leave you alone. And I guess he just assumed that he was bothering me, or that he would look desperate, or that he was pathetic, and he especially felt shame, because I think to an extent he still was sad that he disappointed me enough where I was willing to cut our bond like that. You know what I mean? Like, whether it was for the sake of him actually valuing our friendship, even though he certainly wasn't fucking acting like it, or because he wanted sex and was mad that it was off the table and sad. But I think it was also, yeah, he was disappointed to have disappointed me. And then he was kind of low-key internally crashing out about it. But I explained myself to him. I was like, no, I feel much better after we talked. I just felt like it would have been really bad for me and emotionally taxing if we hooked up. And I feel really good tonight, actually. I'm glad, because now I get to, settle my stress. And then he went from, like, responding only after, like, 3 to 9 hours to, like, this fast, responding, like, every half second and shit. And I was flattered, but I was still like, eh. Let's just say I made the mistake of still fucking him. Why? Because I had a high sex drive and I had gone way too long without getting fucked. So me and Hey, we did it. It was great, and it was great. Everything from the hangout to, like, he got me some nice, like, earrings and a ring, and we really had a nice time getting ramen and laughing and joking with each other, sharing stories, checking out clothing. And, like, then we went back to his place and he freaked it. And it was great. It was fucking, oh my god. He should have, when I was in a terrible relationship with that nigga Morgan, because he was putting it down, like, this nigga could have at any point been like, hey, I heard you got a thing for dudes with brown eyes who are incredible in bed. Guess what? I can do that, but I also have a good paying tech job and emotional intelligence, at least more than fucking he does. It's like, you know what? I would have been down to upgrade from a man with 4-year-old level emotional intelligence to 14-year-old intelligence. It would have still been an upgrade. Plus the sex. Holy shit. It was, I hate to say it. I think that was some of the best sex I've had in my life. Like, I don't know if he's top spot, but he's like, see, and that makes me extra sad about the Hayes situation from what happens next. He started getting weird after we fucked. Cold again. Like, at first he was okay. Like, that's only because I ignored him for like 2 days after we fucked. And then that's because I was like, okay, I doubt he's gonna be as talky or chatty as I need him to be. I know he's gonna be busy, and I need to make sure, because I know my process. With my process, it's like, okay, I can fuck this dude, cut contact on this day and this hour, and then I can dedicate myself to like 2 or 3 days of activities, like really throwing myself into whatever the fuck I want, doing whatever, like, whether it's like deep cleaning or movies or friend hangouts or whatever, so that I don't talk to this nigga again. And that was the plan. It worked, because 2 days later, almost 3, he messaged me, because he could tell I wasn't opening his Instagram messages. He messaged me on Reddit at some point. He was like, hey, do you prefer I message you on here instead, on Reddit? And I responded like a day later, like, oh yeah, sorry I didn't get your messages. We started talking, it was fun. And then he started dwindling contact again, and it was getting so obvious to the point where it's like, okay, 12 hours to fucking reply to a message and not responding unless it's super late at night and I'm talking about like something horny. Or like he was being ungrateful, whether it was a message about something horny or it was a message about like him or me or whatever. He just was losing interest all around. And I thought to myself, okay, this nigga is not that sexy. He's not that cool. And like, I wasn't trying to pull a total fox in the grapes and just be like, ooh, I can't have this, so it sucks. But I was kind of like, you know what? I'm a hot bitch. I'm sexy as fuck, intelligent. I have a lot of things in my life that are good, and this guy is not being good to me. I know he can be, but not at the capacity I need him to. So after too much time with him doing that, I just was like, hey, how about this? I like you a lot, and I'm feeling very emotionally complex. And I was especially gonna have my premenstrual dysphoric disorder kick in because my homicidal, cannibalistic, and suicidal thoughts were coming in really rampant, and I could tell they were getting bad. Like I felt like fucking shooting someone and eating them and skinning them. So, but obviously I was not gonna do that because I'm a sweet little baby girl. I was not gonna do that anyway, even if I wasn't a baby girl. I like to be sane and sweet to people. But this fucking idiot, I tried to just tell him. I was like, listen, like I'm feeling very emotionally volatile and my obsession stuff is kicking in again, yada yada yada. I just made it clear it's like I like you a lot as a friend and I enjoy us sexually, but I feel like because of that, like I feel like I'm not quite having the level of capacity I would like in a friendship. I think I'm looking for something higher contact, and like, and we won't be able to have sex for a while because you're moving and whatnot and you're going to be very busy. And I just feel like we're getting more distant with each other, and I feel like I can tell I don't have a romantic attraction inherently, but I can tell that certain lines are getting blurred to the point where it just feels messy. And mind you, like, you know, breaking out of what I said, I was also, I'll put it this way, if you are not a nigga I'm pursuing romantically or don't have a crush on, do not put me in a situation where I have to do stupid ass romance games to get your attention. Cause like if you're not a friend and you're not giving me benefits, then what the fuck are you? If you're a fuck buddy but you can't fuck and you're not my buddy, then you're nothing. You're just taking up space. Valuable space in my mind that could be left for something more important, like how to keep my succulents alive without them growing white mold or something. And I'm just fucking tired, bruh. Anyway, back to what I messaged him. I messaged him. It's like, I think I'm just looking for a higher contact friendship, and I know we won't be able to meet for a while, but I do quite like you. I just think that we should drop contact for now and reconnect maybe when April hits, so that then things are more stable between you and I, and we can see how things go. Sounds good, right? Now, but Elliot, he has his issues. You know, I suspect he had a childhood where he did tell me that he has a sensitivity to shame and stuff, and that he probably had that when he was younger. He didn't tell me too much, but he did mention that to me passively, that he always feels like especially emotionally distraught when he feels like he has let somebody down, and he doesn't react well to feeling shame in his body. Mind you, nothing of my messages were shaming him. It was just me saying how much I liked him and valued his company, but how I also made it clear I didn't want to stress him out. I wanted to be good for him. And so I wanted to just take time apart. And that it was my whole intention. I was like, we could separate for a month and I can just focus on like taking vitamins and doing stretches and getting my hair done and clearing up my skin and not relying on Mountain Dew or alcohol to be happy and having hobbies, so that then when if and or when we reconnect, we can both, like, he can be moved into his new place, I can be ready for whatever dynamic we have, whether it's just like occasional one night flings or like a more higher contact friendship or whatever. I just want it to be good. I just want it to be good. But and he I guess he felt disappointed. Or he was like, oh shit, I must have really upset her because now she's letting me down gently and she doesn't want me around anymore. That's not what I was trying to say at all. But he also assumed that I had feelings for him. Not true. Did I fucking love the sex? Absolutely. But like, I'm not trying to insult the dude. I'm just gonna say I like him only enough as a friend. Him being incredibly sexy and fun to be around doesn't change the fact that it's like, after the Mitchell thing, the last thing I wanted was to get too emotionally entwined with someone. And then on top of that, let's just say certain things about him were a little messy. Like, yeah, I'm not sure four-eyed men with porn addictions are exactly my wave. No offense, that time has come and gone. I learned my lesson in 2023 and 2024. Not trying to suffer again from that in 2025. Even though I'm kind of failing, because it's like, okay, between Hay and the German dude I'm seeing, and they both kind of. German dude doesn't wear glasses, but he anymore. One of his eyes doesn't work. Anyway, let's focus on the topic. I'm sorry. So fucking Hay. Let's just say Hay lashed out at me. And he basically immediately tried to be dismissive and act like I was asking for too much and just be accusatory and defensive, like straight up insulting in the most passive aggressive way possible. I guess he felt like he had to take jabs at me to try to hurt me because he felt hurt. Now, there's a difference between actually being hurt or like how do I put this? You can feel hurt or sad. It doesn't mean someone hurt you, you know? Like it doesn't mean I'm responsible for your emotions per se. Like I'll put it this way. If I tell you how much I like you, but how we should spend some time apart for like a few weeks to a month so that your life can get settled and my life can get settled and we can both be healthy and happy for each other, you can be hurt and sad about the fact that it's like, oh, Tamia wants to hang out with me less. It doesn't mean Tamia is an evil bitch who wants me dead and wants to hurt me and I need to hurt her like she hurt me because she's doing this to hurt me and make me feel bad and like a bad person. No, my mom had that mindset. She thought like she would usually do this thing where she'd be like, "Oh, I think Tamia is like 0.2% disappointed in me." Even if I wasn't, she'd be like, "Ah, she's disappointed in me. Fuck, I disappointed her. I don't want to see this girl who I love sad. Fuck, I really fucked up as a parent. Oh my god, I'm such a terrible parent. The world is ending. Fuck, I'm stupid. I'm a bitch. I'm awful. I'm a failure. I'm like my mother. I'm worse than my mother. Oh, wait a minute. How dare she be ever disappointed in me? I'm her fucking mother. I gave life into this world. I had hours and hours and hours of birth, blah, blah, blah." And then next thing you know, that's why things with my mom could be 0 to 100. Whether it could just be something like, "Oh, hey, mom." All right. "Oh, hey, did you happen to see that little tub I have in the fridge for my skincare?" And then she'd be like, "Oh, I thought that was old KFC. I threw it out." And I could be like, "Oh, it's okay. That's fine. I can always make some more." And then, despite me saying that, next thing you know, it could just go to 100 with her. And instead of her just being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, my bad," and then letting me remake it, she would instead rile herself up in like 5 seconds or 10 seconds or less. So it's like whether I had no emotional reaction or an emotional reaction that was positive or negative or whatever, she would still kind of project and just assume Tamia fucking hates me and Tamia is disrespectful for hating me, so now I must hurt her and punish her and start slamming doors and threatening her and doing weird abusive shit. So I don't appreciate that Hay did that because it's like, nigga, I've been your friend for like years. It never had to be that way. I would have loved it if he would have. I'm still upset about it. I liked him a lot. He's a bitch. But still, I get where he's coming from. It doesn't change the fact that it's like, you've known me that long. If I were truly upset with you, I would have told you. I'm a very, like, he had multiple chances to get his act together, even knowing when it was stressing me out, and he didn't until I left. And even then, when I was trying to leave that time, it was temporary. It was just me being like, I want to be healthy for him and for myself. And he still found a way to spin it into something terrible and send so many awful messages trying to allude that I was asking for too much and being dramatic and how I was expecting him to fulfill the obligations of a romantic lover and da 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 da. And it's like, none of that fucking shit. Jesus, he was the one trying to. Oh, I don't know. Just a whole lot of projection, and then it got. Even trying to communicate with him further about it just got worse. Gaslighting, and history revising, and you're crazy, or you're a bitch, or you're. And. Anyway, let's just say I'm debating on between doing something that. How do I put this? He already hurt me because he was afraid of being hurt, because he doesn't know that if sometimes you go through things that make you sad and what you do is you sit with your emotions, you go, do I feel sad or did someone make me sad? or like, did this person make me sad with malicious intent, or did they just happen to do something that made me feel slightly less happy than usual? And then you sit with your emotions, you process them, you're like, okay, is this that big of a deal? She clearly means well, he could have done anything else, but no, he's a fucking weirdo who lies to his therapist, nigga. You're a white man with a good job who lies to your fucking therapist for no fucking reason. You do a lot of inconceivable bullshit because you want to stress out a fucking autistic black woman who's trying her fucking best to stay sane. You know I'm not sane, and you want to fucking hurt me? And now I want to fucking hurt him. Because you know what? If everyone else is just going to be emotionally immature, I deserve to have the blessing. So if he gets to fuck up my life where, like, we ended things a while back and I'm still this distraught over it, you know what? I should fuck him up too. I wanted him to be so embarrassed and hurt and pained like I was. And isn't that funny how that's the mindset between most of these people that I've talked about in this video? Most people just want to hurt each other because they feel slighted or scorned, even if they haven't truly been. It could all just be in their head. It could be a projection. It could be the emotions they're avoiding. It could be the healing they're avoiding. It could be a lot. It fucking hurts. I know that. I, of all people, know that. And I try my best to make people know I care. You know what the sick shit is? I still love some of these people platonically. Definitely not my mother. That fucking whore can rot in hell. Suck my dick. The version of her I knew when I was like 4, she was kind of chill. Like, you know, she could have had a redemption arc, but she chose to be a cunt every step of the way. Every step of the way. Like, even like last year, she was still harassing me online like a fucking weirdo. And also, by the way, if you see this bitch, kill yourself. I mean it. Like, take yourself out of the game. Log out, bitch. We don't want you. Bye. But still, if anyone else who's lovely and sane and watching this, or maybe you're not sane, and that's okay. It's fine to not be sane. It doesn't mean you don't deserve to live. But just like, I recognize that I have my issues. I had such a fucked up childhood. It doesn't excuse my actions per se, you know? There's a warranty on how much you can do in your life before you have to stop using certain things as excuses, but for me, I never did. In fact, even when niggas who almost got restraining orders against me, most of them said, you know what, you had a fucked up life, and you're black, and you're a woman. You can't do any real substantial harm to me, or at least you haven't yet, even though I'm afraid for my life around you. And then also, you had a very fucked up mother, and I really hope you get therapy. Some of these niggas have offered to pay for my therapy, which was nice of them. They should have, those fucking stupid bitches, but whatever. And they were like, I just want you to get help. Did they take responsibility for their own actions and how they hurt me? No. But you know what? I fucking persevered, lived, and tried to see good in other people. And oh my god, people make it so hard to see good in them and to care about them. They make it so hard for me to just... I'm burning up just talking about this. Let's just say I like people. I like having faith in others. And I like trying. I think everyone in the world should try to be good. But it's very disappointing when you keep meeting people where it's like, okay, we can't even have the smallest little conflict. Like, not even, like, instead of sending me the condescending message, he could have just simply been like, hey, Timothy, did I upset you? And do you still truly want to be friends, or is this truly over? And I would have loved to have told, hey, I absolutely see you as a friend. I am sad that we won't be meeting for a bit, but frankly, that would have happened whether or not I verbalized it. And I truly do appreciate you as a person, and I like your energy, and I do just want to be safe for me and you. And I would have hoped that he could have saw me as enough of a friend or liked me enough to do that. But you know what? Maybe the sad thing is, it's not even about if he liked me or not. It's just about him hating himself, because if he truly liked himself, he wouldn't have jumped to the conclusion of she thinks I'm a horrible bastard, and I must hurt her in response. Let's see, did I cover all topics? Let's see. Oh, yeah, people who don't care for themselves and don't care for others are truly the worst. I've dated people like that, and it's so frustrating because no amount of care you give them will ever work, because they're hell-bent from the start to believe that they are doomed and damned, and they will hate you if you try to challenge that self-fulfilling prophecy, whether through love, honesty, or through bluntness and hate. It's terrible. Why do you think 2024 was so rough for me? And then even 2023, honestly. We all have our issues, and we all can be loved through them and work through them as long as we try. As long as you try, okay? I don't like when people don't try. Like weirdos who fucking lie to therapists or abuse children or like it's like come on now. Like let me get this straight. You chose beating a child over like journaling. You thought you were just like let me start committing crimes and shit against other people and like spending tons of money and being a terrible person because this is so much better than just like learning how to like, you know, be emotionally vulnerable. But I get it because I'm emotionally vulnerable as a person, and I just made a 44-minute video about me crying and talking about how much it fucking sucks. But you know what? It still feels good, better than if I just entirely shut off my emotions because I noticed that I have shut off my emotions before, and let's just say it's not good for my spirit or my energy. Like other people are good for my spirit or my energy, absolutely. I need to pour into myself instead of others, and I'm learning to do that, and I'm flourishing because it's like, okay, instead of texting those messy ass friends who only want to care about how they feel and not other people, I'm just caring about myself. And oh, look, turns out I enjoy myself instead of constantly hearing about this gossip, this drama, this snarky remark, this attempt at negging. It's like I could just be happy by myself, and it feels good. And you learn more about yourself, and you glow a certain way, and you don't have people ruining your energy. And then there's people who are like, there's people out there who genuinely, they're so fucking, I'm just saying. I wish everyone could be at the point where it's like they like themselves and they like others. Like, I get it, life can't entirely be like Disney Channel, but it's like, you know what, can it at least be ABC level? Or maybe even NBC. I could possibly tolerate, no, NBC level, never mind, that's too much drama for me. Like, I'm just saying, conflict can happen in lives, but it can be handled well. Conflict can arise in yourself, but you can handle it well. I just can't stand when people are like, yeah, like I'm working on it. I am. And me trying to care about other people before I care about myself has put myself in situations where it's like, okay, I tried to talk to, hey, Mitchell, this, and that, but deep down, it's like, they were great when they were great, but when they were awful, it started me drinking and enjoying Mountain Dew and not enjoying time by myself because being by myself meant awful memories. But you know what? I'm getting back to the point where I'm enjoying being by myself again. And I would rather just stay home and love my fucking self. But I don't, even these past few weeks, it's like, what if I love myself and no one else? It's a mixed, like, it's kind of what I need, but it's also dangerous if I do it for too long. I'm just saying, it feels good that I'm finally starting to reach a blissful point where it's like, okay, I like myself, I'm getting back into hobbies and goals and feeling good, but I'm also not over reliant on somebody or anybody for my happiness. It would feel good to have friends and company and more, but you know what? I don't like selfish people. Hell, I even got someone messaging me on Reddit right now where anytime I talk about something that's not related to opals, they ignore me and they start talking about opals. And I just got to the point where I was like, hey dude, are you autistic? Because it's like there's no, like, it's like either you're autistic or you're just a stupid fucking asshole. It's like, come on now. Like, we get it, you like opals, but I've tried to change topics like 5 separate times about what's going on with me, and you've been entirely ignoring it and neglecting it, but you want me to care all about you and not reciprocate, so fuck you. And you know what, that's a huge personality growth moment, so I'm gonna clap for me. Amen. God bless, I deserve that. I'm glad that I'm starting to pour back into myself and focus on me. And I suppose I'll let people in when they show me that they're worth it, but not everyone is showing me that they're worth it. So, yeah, fuck them. It's a shame to meet lovely people who don't love themselves and don't love others, and they will do all sorts of weird things in the name of self-preservation, but it's really self-destruction. They fuck up their lives and the lives of others. For what? It's stupid. Some of it's understandable, but some of it's just indecipherably, like, I don't want to say the R word, but I'm just gonna say it. Some of you niggas need to be put down like fucking dogs, like Old Yeller, like kill yourselves. But you know, like other ones who try, even when it's hard, please, I love you. Please keep going. I need more people like you. The people who give, but also like take. You know, the perfect, like, because you are living examples on what's healthy. And even if you aren't that, please keep trying to be that. Like, don't be afraid to do the inner work and the shadow work. Don't be afraid to sit down and be like, okay, do I have abandonment issues that make me overgive to people because I think it'll make me stay? Did something traumatic happen in my childhood that makes me afraid of love and commitment? Am I fully healed from my past? Like, I'm just saying, please love yourself enough to sit with yourself. Don't be like the losers who pay fucking hundreds of dollars for therapy in a place with a therapy shortage and still have the nerve to lie to their therapist for fucking years. Don't be that guy.
Don't be the person who cheats on all of their partners. Don't be the person who beats all of their kids. Don't be the person who disrespects all their friends and then wonders why they're alone. Please don't. And I hope you can also enjoy just being alone. Once you enjoy being alone, your life feels so good. And I can tell I love being alone because, mind you, I just spent 50 minutes talking to myself on a camera and I feel happy as hell. And I might take a nap, might play a video game, might just feel good. Amen. Blessings. That's all I have to say for now, my loves. Peace out. Bye.